Even though Manifest was cut short by NBC dropping the show and announcing that the show will not be renewed for a 4th season, the 3 seasons we did get delivered us with a lot of great moments. Between the chilling and iconic return of the famed flight and Zeke's death date survival, it was all intense from beginning to end. Stay tuned. First, we have the return of the 3 shadows. Manifest yanked the rug from underneath every returned passenger on Flight 828, altering their lives as irreversibly as their homecoming after 5 whole years. But before Ben made the decision that would affect the lives of each and every passenger on that fateful flight, he and his family were confronted with the fact that the 3 men who were seen as towering shadows in Cal's visions had returned. In Season 3 of Manifest, the 3 shadows that Cal has been seeing in his visions are the major antagonists. They managed to evade the explosion at their drug house that was supposed to kill them after Mick disobeyed a calling about letting them free. After they kidnapped Cal, chaos around the Stone household erupted. But luckily, the 3 shadows fell into a frozen lake and died, or so we thought. When spring arrives, it becomes clear that the suspenseful plot involving the 3 shadows is far from being over. Some may have predicted this twist given their corpses were never retrieved, but it didn't take away from how scary it really is to witness someone rise up to walk out of that lake alive. Next, Major Catherine Fitz playing therapist. The Major has always been a nefarious adversary who operates in the shadows. She can follow, surveil, and even abduct passengers whenever she wants, thanks to the NSA's technology and the people. And nobody ever knows what she's actually up to or what she may do. An uncomfortable incident, which has also one of the most shocking moments that emphasizes her deviousness, was when Sanvi eventually chooses to get treatment for her PTSD. She enters a room and is welcomed by none other than the Major. It's a painful scene to watch, since the viewers know who the therapist is, but Sanvi is completely unaware that she's going to reveal the passenger's secrets to the enemy. Up next, Robert Vance's reappearance. When the director of the National Security Agency crosses sides, he rapidly becomes one of the most popular characters on Manifest. He has demonstrated that he is reasonable by constantly attempting to do the responsible thing. In the past seasons, he's shown his worth and devotion to the passengers of 828 by doing what's absolutely best for them. This is why learning that he was allegedly killed in the explosion at the Singularity's hideaway was so upsetting. However, as Ben approaches the white van that had been following him and his family around for a while, a few episodes later, Vance is unable to dodge Ben's probing and is compelled to confess to him that he had survived the explosion but had to continue on lying so he could investigate in peace without the threat of the Major coming after him and his family like she has already done once. He had been working non-stop to stay away from the Major and her operatives. Ben, and probably most viewers, were not expecting such a pleasant reunion. Now we have the disappearance of the tail fin. Fans were shocked at the end of Season 2 to see 2 sailors struggling to raise their net from the Cuban seas. They eventually pulled out something enormous, which turned out to be Flight 828's tail fin. The plane was last seen in an explosion at a New York airport, making it a seemingly impossible find. The discovery of the tail fin at the conclusion of Season 2 was a massive cliffhanger, but its disappearance in the Season 3 finale was even more dramatic. It played an important role in Season 3's plot till the very end, when Ben and Sanvi release the tail fin into the ocean in the hopes that Cal will return. The tail fin just vanishes, causing a serious domino effect. Captain Daly magically appears in the plane's cockpit at Eureka, moments before begging Dr. Gupta to help and then disappearing yet again, this time with the entire plane. Cal is now shown to be as old as he would have been if the plane hadn't disappeared in the first place. I guess the character deserved that, considering how hard it was for Cal to adjust to all of his friends being older than him now. Season 3 came to a conclusion with a big cliffhanger, leaving fans startled and eager to find out what happens next. Following an episode filled with unexpected occurrences, such as Zeke's resurrection, the Major's death, and the vanishing of the 3 criminals' bodies, the show teases viewers with a glimpse of something even more incredible to come in Season 4. Next is Zeke Landon's resurrection. Zeke's character arc is one of the show's most depressing ones, as both Mick and the audience feel his death date is nearing. In an attempt to find closure before his death, Zeke makes peace with his ex-wife and his estranged parents. At first, the chances of his survival seemed impossible, but in reality, they weren't. In Season 2, when all hope seemed to be gone for Zeke and his death date neared, his body temperature seemed to be getting colder and colder. It had gotten so bad that the viewers could clearly see that his ears had turned black from severe frostbite. There's a scene from Zeke and Mick's wedding, a day before his death. On his last day, Cal gets kidnapped kidnapped, and despite knowing the cold could kill him, Zeke plunges into the lake to save him. In the Season 2 finale, after saving Cal from the frozen lake, Zeke is rescued from the lake and gets the chance to say his final words to his new bride, Michaela, Ben, and Cal. Moments after saying his goodbyes, there's a bright light in the pause-worthy moment where he's lying in Michaela's arms as she sobs for Zeke and Ben embraces Cal. Because he embraced his callings, Zeke returns from the dead and becomes the first person to outlive their death date because he had apparently redeemed himself in the eyes of the callings, and they thought that he had earned the right to live. This caused Ben, Michaela, and the rest to question if the passengers would be able to make it through theirs, just like Zeke. Now we have TJ Morrison's rescue. TJ has established himself as one of the better Flight 828 passengers as a result of his efforts to assist Ben and, of course, his growing affection for Olive. His alleged demise in the nightclub fire is particularly heartbreaking, as he's made the ultimate sacrifice to ensure Olive's survival. When Ben and Olive are having trouble coping with his death, they're taken to a meditation facility. Even after they conduct a makeshift ceremony for him, the chanting continues, so Ben convinces Olive to join him in following the sound. They eventually find themselves traveling down a labyrinth of dark tunnels that lead right beneath the nightclub, where they discover TJ is still alive. Olive and the audience's eyes well up with tears, and they witness this amazing moment. Next is Captain Bill Daly's brief return. Flight Captain William Daly was repeatedly blamed for what happened on Flight 828, and he did everything in his power to understand what went wrong with Flight 828. Driven to the verge of insanity, Daly soon discovers a string of dark lightning, just like the one he flew through in Season 1, and proceeds to fly into it, even snatching Fiona as a bargaining chip. When Ben tries to stop him, the Air National Guard is ordered to shoot the jet down. The airplane, which had Daly and Fiona on board, disappeared before they could get an opportunity to react. But where does the plane go? Most viewers felt bad for Captain Daly, especially when he describes how he was being accused of Flight 828's disappearance. Since the plane's recovery, he spent most of his days using a flight simulator to try to reproduce the identical conditions. When he chooses to hijack a real jet and fly directly through a dark lightning storm with Fiona Clark, things take a terrible turn. The unfortunate happenings seem to come to an end when they're supposedly shot down, until he returns to the cockpit of Flight 828's wreckage near Eureka. He trades a fearful expression with a genuinely baffled Dr. Gupta, and then vanishes into pure nothingness, taking the plane with him. Now, Cal Stone's transformation. Another defining moment occurs in the last moments of Season 3, which is the biggest mystery of the series. Fans may recall Cal disappearing after touching the tail fin to help others understand before he vanishes. Ben makes a desperate attempt to take the tail fin back to the sea where they found it, assuming that this is what the callings want in exchange for Cal. However, Ben, Sanvi, and Mick are completely unaware of what's going on inside the Stones' house. Angelina's insane idea that she and Eden share a particular bond led her to kidnap the infant, tragically murdering Grace in the process. Grace is bleeding out on the floor when a youngster emerges out of thin air and assures her it's all right because he understands what they should be doing now. Grace and the audience later realized that this was no ordinary adolescent, but a mature version of Cal who had returned after Ben had returned the tail fin to its proper place. Grace cuddles her kid, who's seemingly many years older now, and there's a wonderful moment of recognition. It's impossible to say where Cal has gone, or just what he knows. Season 4 will be the only way to find out. That's all for today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.